Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another live episode of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show here at the Smokin' Studios. And we have a fellow socialite on tonight, guys. I mean, this guy is very, very well known inside the socialite group, and I know has tons of love for that group and for smoking. So we're going to bring him in here in a minute. Before we do, I just want to kind of refill everybody into the situation that happened last week. Um, so I have three cats, and one of those cats I've had for only 8 years, and um and that cat was undoubtedly the closest animal I've ever owned to me. And Well, we found out he was sick on Wednesday, and we had to put him down Thursday. So it was incredibly sudden, and unfortunately, finances, we couldn't do anything. And so there was just no way I was going to be on the show last week. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much to everybody that reached out and commented on that post. It really truly does mean a lot. I know it's an animal, and for those of you that don't have animals, you may not understand, but that animal does become literally part of who you are as a family, as an image in that family, and that house just feels different. So again, I appreciate everybody's support and understanding about the show last week. We have rescheduled it for November, so definitely going to have Lou back on. But huge shout outs to all the sponsors that remotely make this show happen week after week after week. This is awesome. I love this, right? We've got BAMF Cigars, ROCF Cigars. We have Kristoff Cigars, Sagrado Cigars. We've got Micallef Cigars, Pro Family Business, Pro Growth, and Pro Cigar Rights. We've got Big Sky Cigars, Cornell and Diehl Pipe Tobacco, with my absolute favorite being Autumn Evening. La Aurora Cigars, West Tampa Tobacco Company. Ricky's going to be here in studio, by the way, next month. I'm looking so forward to that. We've got Cigar Clowns. Thank you so much. And Steve over at Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Thank you so much. And we, of course, can never forget the big guy, Abe DeBabna over at Smokin', who is a big reason this show is where it is in the support. So thank you to everybody that supports this show very, very much. Now, sorry that was a little slow. I was doing my best to not get choked up over talking about that earlier. So we're going to go ahead and move forward here. We have an absolutely fantastic guest. I don't know a whole lot about his personal life and how he delved into this world of cigars, so we're definitely going to find out. But in order to do so, he's got to introduce himself. How you doing, Drew?
What's up, guys? Fantastic to be here. This is technically my first interview, I think.
I popped your cherry.
Hey, cheers. Fantastic.
Cheers. There you go. Yeah, I bet you never thought another man would say that to you.
Flatter nonetheless.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on. So I'm going to give you the start of the show here to explain, introduce yourself, talk a little bit about the brand, how to find you. By the way, anybody can go over to smokein.com to purchase this fantastic cigar. But tell everybody where your social networks are, how to find you, and just introduce yourself to everyone.
Yeah, you can find us at gatonegro.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Gato Negro Cigars, or you can just reach out personally to me at Drew Nicastro, and I will absolutely let you guys follow me, be a friend, whatever you want. The story how this all created was, believe it or not, was at a Great Smoke, and my business partner and I is my wife's cousin's husband, and during the pandemic, I joined this Smoke-In social, and I was still kind of new to cigars, And Abe reached out and he goes, I think you would really be great in this group. And he let me come aboard. And then I talked to my business partner at that time, and he said, he goes, hey, that's my local cigar lounge. They're having a great smoke. You should come out. So we came. I went out there. We had a great time, and during all that, I got to know him a lot better because I only saw him a few times here and there. He lived in Florida half the other time he lives in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So we got to sit around and talk more about him and his family, and that's where kind of Gato Negro came from, because Gato Negro was a store that his father owned and operated in Cuba when he was a young boy. And it was like a Walmart of Cuba. They sold everything, even cigars. And when that was going well, communism started to rise up a little bit, and Fidel Castro started coming in, taking a little bit at a time. And he told me, he goes, I remember at my house, Fidel Castro came to my home and rubbed me on the head and went into the back and talked to my father. And he goes, not 5 minutes later, he came out and he drove away in my dad's car. And my dad came and said, we have to leave. They left everything and pretty much just walked to a Red Cross ship. And
one second here. Let me just back up a second. Castro came to your family's home, patted your dad on the head, talked to your grand.
Yeah. Now this isn't my father. I'm Italian.
Your business partner's father.
Business partner.
Yeah, your business partner's father.
Yes,
and then patted him on the head.
He was 4 years old at the time. He remembered.
Talked to his granddad in the back room.
They talked to his father.
His father in the back room.
His father.
5 minutes. They left.
Came out, left, drove away in his car.
Ooh, wonder what that conversation was like.
Yeah, who knows? He never talked about it. God, I totally understand why, but
yeah.
But they were walking on their way to the ship to leave for America, and Fidel Castro had just the communists line the street where they were leaving, and they started ripping everything that had any value off of them. They began to spit on them, and they were spitting on him as well. He was a 4-year-old child at the time, calling them rats for leaving the revolution.
Wow.
So this was a big part of why we created it, because he also said, I always wanted a private label cigar too. And I said, well, hey man, I mean, we can just merge both of them together here. The big thing about cigars is, you have to have a story, and that right there, you have your story. I mean,
yeah.
And he always wanted to do something that celebrated his father's legacy. And him and his brothers absolutely have done that. They have become successes in their own right. And he always said, and that became our company's slogan, was Cuban by birth, American by the grace of God. Because he came to this country, his family came to live that American dream. Now, they came with nothing, and they started from nothing, and they became great successes, everyone in that family. So I am definitely blessed where he was able to, hey, the cigars, we don't know the business yet, but let's jump in this together and try to create something. So
it sounds like you guys were just together at the right time, right place for this to be a thing for you guys to both go into.
Definitely. And I said from the start, when we started all this, I said, this is a smoking, socially born and bred cigar. Now unofficially, of course, because it wouldn't have happened if it was not for the Great Smoke, if it was not for Smoking Social that brought me and him together into this common hobby that we had with cigars. And when that happened, it just blew up. It turned into, at first it was just going to be like a private label cigar for him to have maybe a couple hundred boxes that he would give away to friends and stuff like that. But it when we started the journey, he goes, "I think we should sell them. I think this could be a company. Let's get into it." And I said, "No, man, I'm all for it."
That's awesome. I love that. It just kind of was a happenstance thing that you guys took serious and are taking it serious, but you're also not trying to get in front of your skis on something and dominate every single shop too. But
No.
before we go too far, let's go ahead and wrap it up with our only segment of the night. This is the only segment that we have, sponsored by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, and that is the "What Are You Smoking Tonight?"
Oh,
So, Drew, please tell everybody, what are we smoking?
we are smoking the second rendition of the Gato Negro. Oh, and that is our up and coming Robusto that we are hoping sometime down the future to release.
Well, I love this size, this box press size. I love a box press, first off. When they're done right, I don't think there's really anything better. Thank you so much, Steve, over at Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, for sponsoring that part of the show. I just don't think there's really anything better than a great box press. It feels nice in the mouth. You can
100%.
actually kind of close your mouth a little bit, you know. But I also like that you went with the smaller size altogether.
Well, we give credit to Steve Saka for that, because during the great smokes and things like that, I've been able to speak with him and kind of pick his brain a little bit when he allows me to. And we talked about, what's the best size, and he said the 6x48 is by far the best size.
Yes,
because you get the perfect balance of everything. You can taste everything within that cigar. You can taste every filler. You can taste that binder, which is sometimes very hard to taste. And then you get that wrapper. It's very balanced, and it's just a great smoke all around. So I said, I mean, we tried different sizes, but I said, hey man, give me that 6x48 first. And that was the overall winner.
I want to, and I know you're open to talking about this, and I think this should be said, because although this is your first, not rendition of this cigar, but this is your first part of the line of Gato Negro.
Right.
You have more to come as obviously you get further into this. You're also not using a fly-by-night company to do it. You're using a really successful, highly credible, great outfit. So if you could, and you're willing to disclose whatever you are,
Definitely.
let's go through the blend, talk a little bit about the binder, the filler, the wrapper, and then talk about the factory and how you how does somebody get connected with them that you don't have the ties to the cigar world?
Right. You because of Smoking Social, you meet a lot of people. Because you go to trade shows like the Great Smoke, you have direct connections immediately when you go up to a table and you shake hands with someone, because those are the makers. Those are the guys that run this industry. So I was able to meet a lot of people like that. But through this company, I have a good friend who lives locally around me. He has a cigar company as well called La Vega Cigar Company. And he met Luis and Alec Cuevas from Casa Cuevas Cigars at an event at a country club near us. And just by talking to them, he struck up a handshake deal in an hour or two with them to start making their line. And he introduced me to them. And it was all about just connections. And it's really not about what you know, it's about who you know.
No, absolutely. That's a big part of business. And then not just who you know, but being willing to go on a limb and asking who you know for something they can do for you.
Yeah, and they were so open to it. And I said, I'm not going to I'm not going to put in a 10,000 cigar order right away. It's just not, that's not feasible to where I am right now. And they said, oh, no, don't even worry about it. Let's just go at your speed. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what kind of blend you came with first, because I told them about the first cigar we did. And I said, well, I would like to do that blend again differently with some same tobaccos, but in a different way. And the wrapper where it all started was the San Andreas. I always loved San Andreas wrappers. It was what Connecticut broadleaf is now is what San Andreas was, years ago. It was that's what everyone wanted. That's what everyone wanted to get their hands on. And I always loved that wrapper. I always loved that tobacco, that earthiness, that chocolatiness. I always loved that. Then we went with a newer binder. We went with an Aurora Dominican binder, which burns beautifully in the size. And then in the fillers, we have tobaccos from Esteli, and we have what I want to put in every single one of my cigars is a Dominican Criollo 98. I'm a big salt guy. I love saltiness on the lips. It's a great foundation flavor for me, and I'm able to then pick up on a lot of different nuances of flavors on top of that once I get that flavor going. So they were so fantastic from the start to now, very professional. They treated me like I was their number one buyer. They gave me all the time in the world, like I was one of the big guys, and that meant a lot, and that still means a lot. Like I'm, all right, no matter where this goes, I have a big sense of loyalty to that company and to those guys.
Now, I love that. And you always will have, if the first person that gives you a shot, hey, perfect example for me. First person that gives you a shot and they're honest and they're an honest broker in their own business, man, that bond is very, very tight on that loyalty because they saw something and believed something and gave you a chance when another company, regardless of pick who it is, could have been like, sorry, we need 10,000 cigars.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I shopped around to a lot of different places, and there was one where I wanted their tobacco. Man, I wanted it. And it was the best tobacco you can get around here. But they were like, hey, this is what it is. I need 5,000. I'm like, okay, I can do 5,000. But they were like, we need 3 sizes at minimum. Ooh. So 15,000 cigars. That's Ooh. Minimum order. And I was like, that's not going to work. I went through other people where I love their tobacco, and the guy was a master blender, and I was really lucky to talk to this guy, and I was like, man, if I can get a cigar made through them, that'd be great. But through the experience we had prior, we saw that the prices what you're buying at just didn't add up. The first go around we had, it was we didn't know nothing. We were so green. It was not even we were greener than Candela, man. We didn't know nothing about nothing, and we just start making changes. Oh yeah, we're going to change this to this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this to this, and then it came out to final pricing, and I'm like, oh okay, that's not bad. But then you think about what you sell it for and what then they sell it for, and I was like, oh wow, we can't even sell this for a cigar because it was that expensive at that point. I was like, this is okay. We did something wrong here. Obviously we messed up. So we had to go back to the drawing board, and we thankfully were basically handed on a silver platter the Cuevases, and they felt our pain, obviously, and they're like, we don't do business this way or that way. Here's what it is. It ain't, and there's nothing else behind it. It was at the beginning a handshake deal, and it's still a handshake deal to this time. So it's trust is a huge thing in this industry, and I was given some advice at the beginning of this that kind of almost scared me off. And he goes, they said this industry is mostly ran by con men and thieves. Somewhere down the line, someone's trying to screw you. And I said, "Oh, that's not the best advice I wanted to hear right out of the gate." And then next advice I was given was, "I can tell you how to make $1 million in this industry right now." And I'm like, "Oh, fantastic! Well, I'm about to get some inside knowledge here, you know." And then he told me start with $2 million.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh well, damn. All right." So the advice to start out with was scary, and but through experiences, someone told us, Abe told me that you guys failed forward. You guys didn't fail, but you didn't just fail, but you failed forward. You learned from your mistakes, and you're now in a better place because of it. So it's something that didn't break us. We did a short run the first go around, and it was a loss, but it was a great learning experience. There was no way I was going to learn that without failing.
And jumping ahead a little bit, because we're going to get into what that failure meant as far as how you learned from it and why you just didn't say fuck it, I'm done. Like that was a lesser person that didn't have that drive, which we're going to talk about what drove you into this and what continues to be their drive. But I just got to say, man, from one beard guy to the other, you got to grow that thing out like big.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy.
Let it do the straightener.
I ain't about all that. I actually shaved off a whole bunch before I came on here tonight because it looked bad.
That is like one of the, when you see this thing in person, guys, this is one of like the densest beards that you will see. Like I just envision it just growing, just keeping that density all the way down.
I wish it went all the way up too.
Hey! You know what? I got rid of the crowd once the game was over.
Yeah, I go bald whenever I go get a touch up or something like that. I just say shave it off, but I don't keep up with it. Like you got to shave that like every other day, and I just don't do it. I just wait till it grows in, and then I go somewhere to get it shaved off again.
Yeah, see, I shave it. People watch this show, they have a certain image they expect me to keep. No, I'm totally kidding. I shave it just because you know what did it for me? I have a picture of myself holding my daughter as a baby like this. And it was a top shot. And I saw the huge yarmulke-sized bald spot. Yeah. And I was like, it's done. It's gone. Like, my hairdresser's lying to me and saying, "Oh, it's looking good." Totally kidding.
As soon as I saw it creeping up, I said, "That's it." Bye. And the reason I saw it really going is a friend of mine had cancer, and when he started going through chemo, me and my best friend we shaved our head, and we said, hey man, this ain't gonna grow back until yours grows back. And it started growing back a little bit, and it started thinning up there. I was like, well, it ain't yours might grow back, but mine never growing back, I guess. So we're just gonna keep it off. And then then we made some Gato Negro hats, and I'm like, I got something to hide it now.
Oh yes. Speaking of which, there it is. Speaking of which, I totally meant to put this on.
Oh, there you go.
Whoop. Very, very nice hat. And I like that you did the leather patch on the hat too. I like the leather patch. One, it's very Dunbarton-esque.
That was very Dunbarton-esque.
It's also just looks nice, that leather patch too. Like it genuinely.
Everyone I do myself.
Yeah, it does. It looks nice. So
like with Steve Saka, every unicorn leaf he touches, every hat I touch.
So let's dive into a little bit about your failures, and I love this talking to business people about this because I think you are like me in this. I am a firm believer that the only way anybody is ever successful is if they've tasted failure.
Oh, yeah,
Not
100%.
just like, oh, I didn't make it across the monkey bars, I failed, but like failure, like a business, a life failure. Because if you don't know where to come from to be better, you never know you're actually good.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you're faced with a bunch of failures in life, and I've been blessed to where there was another opportunity there right after that failure. That doesn't always come. That then sometimes you have to make your own opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, I've been blessed to where it's just something else comes around the corner, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take this one by the horns and give it hell. And
So let's talk a little bit about that cigar thing, the cigar, the misorder, and kind of why did like what continued you forward, because that's not a small expense,
it wasn't
especially
a
for a
small
new
expense,
business.
but it didn't do what I wanted for my business partner's father's legacy and for his legacy. I couldn't let it stop there because it didn't, like, he wasn't ready to be done either. Like, he was.
Okay, so both of you guys weren't
Yeah,
like,
we
oh
said this is
man, this sucks.
this yeah, it sucked, but we were like, this isn't, this is supposed to be a celebration of your father, and this has got to be better. We're not ending it like this. He had a pretty shitty ending with the whole El Gato Negro in Cuba. That was a
Yeah.
shitty ending, but he made it better in America. And the same thing had to happen here. We faced a pretty harsh reality and a failure that most people would have just said, all right, let's shut up shop. Let's,
Lick our
what the
wounds
hell?
a little
Yeah,
bit
what
and
the hell?
figure it out.
Like I always said from the start, I said, I'm going to make a cigar that I like, because if this goes to shit, then at least I got a shit ton of cigars I can smoke and enjoy, you know? So I was like, we were there, like, I was like, hey, we got a lot of
You got a
cigars.
good deal on them
We're
too.
going to, they're not going to go to waste. We're going to smoke these. But, I said, let me, we'll, let me see if I can make some new connections, and we'll shop around. We'll be more patient, because when we found the first person, we were like, all right, we're off to the races. Let's do this. We were all in. And the second time around, we're like, all right, we have to be patient. This success doesn't come overnight. This won't come overnight. Let us take a step back. We're gonna continue to live our lives like we are, but we're not gonna jump to the first person that says, "Hey, I got a cigar I think you guys would like," or I would like you guys to blend with us." So we really took things a lot more slow this time. We didn't put all our eggs in one basket. I remember Abe on KMA did a packaging segment where it was like, godlike. There was good, respectable, and really, and we were on that really, because we were just a bundle with a sticker on it. And I I understood the fact that everyone has that first impression, and but I also was like, before we throw our eggs in one basket again, let's just take things easy. And that's why I kind of went with a bundle thing. We made a display tray for shops, and I said, let's the cost makes sense here. We spent a lot of money already. I don't want to, like, it was always in the back of my mind again, like, if this thing goes left again, I don't want that.
Mhm.
I don't want that dollar sign to be that much more.
Correct.
So now that we've gotten a lot of feedback saying, yo, these Drew Nicastro, Gato Negro Cigars, you got to look out for them because this is a banger of a cigar. I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, let's start going to boxes now. Let's start reinvesting in ourselves that we're doing the right thing now and make it the way that it's got to look.
And that's where this comes in. Now, this is the bundle,
Right.
but this is where you started to gain a lot of traction on Smokin's website.
Yeah, and that was 100% Abe. We had a meeting with him, and I thought what it was going to be realistically is he graciously gave us a meeting to give us advice. And he's always very gracious with his time, even though he has none. He has no
Yes,
extra time,
he does
but
not.
he gave us that time. He knew my business partner for a long time, much longer than we've known each other, and he gave us a lot of advice. He sat down with my business partner at the time, and for a couple hours, and showing him, okay, this is where you should be, this is where you need to be, and I'm like, all right, hey, I was like, you know what, we'll make these changes, and when we think we're up to your standard, we'll come back and we'll try to do business. And he goes, oh, no, we're doing business now. And I was like, oh shit, like, because Abe, when you think about small guys, they don't really mess with Smoke In because he gets the biggest and best people, and rightfully so, for the company and the absolute juggernaut of a social setting that he's created demands that, and people, the best in the industry, come to him because he is the best at what he does. So when he said he was going to help us, when he was going to support us, he said, I'll put you in the Cigar of the Month Club, and I'm gonna,
Huge.
which is huge. That's
Huge.
huge. That's gonna get
It's
that's
like 2,000, over 2,000 people in the Cigar of the Month
that's
Club.
have never
Several of people have
have never
gotten
had
just
my
got their
cigar, that have
5-year
never tried
badge.
my cigar. It is
Yeah,
instantly in their hands.
huge, huge.
It was amazing to even think about that. And he goes, and then I'm gonna want some stuff to sell. And I said, oh well, that sounds great. He goes, how many do you have? And I said, oh, well, I just got a shipment in, and this is what I got. And he bought 95% of it. And I was like, geez, I was like, this is years. I didn't think I'd get to that point for 5 years down the road from now. And he instantly made it, because my overall, honest to God, no bullshit dream was to be in Smoke In. That was the top. That was top of the mountain for me, because I'm a Smoke In socialite. I still am. I'm always going to be one.
Same here, brother.
And I have a lot of friends there. I have a lot of friends, like, when I come into town for the Great Smoke, you walk into that place and you know everybody already.
It's cheers.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, I know every one of you people in here. And then we sit down and we take the place over for a week.
Like, literally, if you're watching this, you're not in the socialite group, I strongly recommend you to jump onto Facebook, check out Smokin' Social, and join the group. It's not that you get like additional perks at Smokin', but you do kind of feel like you walk around royalty in there, because the socialite experience at TGS is just incredible.
And
It's
not just
incredible.
that whereby you never know who's
Oh
going
yeah,
to,
absolutely.
and that's really how you
Absolutely.
really make connections. And during the pandemic, that place was full. That place was That place was like 20, 30 people in there every day.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
And you really got to know everybody, and from all corners of the globe too. It wasn't just like in the United States. Everybody. So whenever I travel now, I travel to Hawaii, and I told my wife, I was like, "Yeah, let's go to Hawaii. I know somebody there. We're gonna do an Alaskan cruise next year." And I'm like, "Hey,
pausers.
hey, I know people there. So when we get to the Juneau port, I know people there. I got we got to stop by." And people were like, "Jesus!" Like in my family, like, "How do you know all these people?" It's like, "Hey, man, cigars, man, brings people together."
The cigar community is tight.
Oh, it's super tight, and what's even better than that, which you will not get in the outside world, outside of that, is you can have all the differences in the world, which right now political differences is aplenty. People are losing family, they're losing friends over the dumbest shit. But you come in to smoke in, or you come into any lounge to smoke a cigar, no matter how different you are politically, sex, gender, whatever it is, there's a respect that you bring in with that. So when you come in with those differences, you come in with respect, and at the end of it, you leave with respect. There's nothing else like it, and there's no way to really explain it. And you talk to people about it like crazy, but you don't understand until you really enter that world.
And one of the things that I really love about that smoking community is how well it is, for lack of better terminology, moderated, policed. Meaning, like, the second any shyster gets on there to try to sell you a fake Cuban,
Oh
they're
yeah,
caught. The
yeah.
second anyone brings up politics, they get reached out to and go, "Hey, that's not for this group." Like, that group is, you want to talk politics and cigars? There's plenty of groups. I can name about 2 dozen of them for you right now. But you want to just live that cigar world? That's what that smoking social is. And and one of the things that because Abe's helped both of us out. Abe's a big reason this show exists today still, and the Bacon Company as well. And Abe's a big reason why Gato Negro got a huge leap up. And I mean, let's be honest here. Abe doesn't really Abe doesn't really fight to bring people in. So the fact that you're in there, because we had talked about this during the pre-show. What'd you say? You're an ultra boutique.
Yeah, like there's like boutique doesn't even, like, boutique people don't even get in there.
Boutique's too big.
Yeah, like I'm mom and pop boutique. I'm that. I'm not even brick and mortar boutique. I don't know what I'm somewhere below that. And what really sold it, I think, for us was this was born a socialite brand. We were both socialites before we were even a company, and even during making a company, we were still very much part of Smoke-In and the Smoke-In family. So that's number one. That's number one in our eyes. We don't. If we cater to anyone, we're catering to them, because one, they brought us into the family first, and not only after they brought us in, they said, "Hey, we're gonna give you that first shot. We're gonna be the ones that give you that opportunity, and it is our pleasure to do so. And we're gonna, they took all the risks. They bought all the cigars, and they could have just, God knows, you never know what's going to happen in this industry. And they actually, I mean, they were designing their own uh, their own photos for it, like you saw on the top screen. It was on the top screen for a while, where as soon as you went to smokein.com, it was Gato Negro. It was right there. There was a graphic for it right there, and it just got people talking about it.
So as you are building this, you're now in Smoke-In. By the way, Bruce, drink. I said so. And so as you're building this, Abe brings you in. Obviously, you had given out some samples to people a couple years back before the company was what it is today.
Right.
My wife being one of those, she loves it. It's in her do not touch section of the drawer. She's got one because you had told her, I think, that it was like an original blend of hers. So she kept that. So that's been in there for a little bit. I can't even smoke it. And
We'll get you one.
so as you're coming in, how concerned for you? Because you had said a couple of times it's kind of a smoking brand, in the sense that the smoking socialite group is the biggest first adoption group that you're in. How concerned and how nervous were you that people were going to be like, "Oh, this is bad," and now they can't even tell you that? Like, was that ever? Does that make sense? Was that ever a
Yeah.
thought in
No.
your mind? Like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Well,
I'm
I mean,
really putting myself out there."
well, like Abe told me, he goes, "Bro, this is you're not going to please everybody. It's not going to happen. You're never ever going to please everybody." So that really stuck with me, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, hey, I love it, and you thought it was good enough to bring in and put your name behind it. So that speaks worlds to me. So
Volumes, volumes.
I was okay with it. I was okay with any negative reaction, stuff like that. That it is what it is. I've gotten that, and I've learned from other people too, other brands where I've seen like, oh man, this cigar just didn't burn good. I didn't have a great experience with it, and I was able to just, hey, you know what? I learned from other companies. Hey, I sent them a direct message. What's your address, man? That's not the experience I wanted you to have with that cigar. Let me send you out a replacement and really have the experience I really wanted you to have with this cigar.
That means the world. And for those of you guys that don't understand, that's out of his own pocket. Like, he's not a Steve Saka, he's not a Drew Estate. So when you buy a cigar and you don't have the experience he wants and he offers to replace it, that's literally you zeroing out that original sale.
Oh, most definitely. But I mean,
And
that's
but that's a but I say it like that because that shows the integrity you have for the brand that you're creating, that you don't care about the little expense you have to give away. It's more important for you to have them enjoy it, because it's never that first sale that makes you any money. It's that repeat buy.
absolutely the repeat buy. But it's not. It's not. When it. I don't even think of it as like a marketing idea, a tool. It's you didn't have a good experience with something that I created, and I would not be able to sleep at night knowing the fact that there's people out there that, hey, this I had this tunneled like crazy. This thing wouldn't stay lit. Those are things where I'm like, I can't live with that. Like if someone said, "Yo, the flavors, it ain't my thing, man. I didn't like it at all." Hey, it happens. That
I would live
happens.
with that.
I can live with that. But if and they show pictures, and this thing is tunneled all the way down here, and this thing is burnt like crap, and the ash is just exploding on you. Well, then I'm gonna take personal issue with that, because that happens. It's a hand rolled product, and things like that happen.
I think that's such an amazing way to look at it. I can't help it. I've been a business consultant for 20 years pretty much, and everything I do when I get into the mindset of business is always looking at like a plus or a minus or a general ledger driven or a finance driven thing. So I explain everything from that standpoint, but I like how you explained it better, because you you explained it as if you did look at it from the money. I explained it coming from the negative side, and instead you actually looked at it as a positive thing, as another way that somebody else's experience could be corrected, fixed, and made right. And you never looked at it as a financial. You actually corrected me on that, and I actually put a lot of respect in that. That shows, again, a lot of integrity in your own brand, a lot of belief in your own brand, and a lot of willingness to make it right, regardless of what your experience is. It's all about their experience.
Exactly, because you think one person's opinion won't matter, but one person could tell another person, and that can turn into a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
if one person, hey, I didn't like the cigar, that didn't taste good, I didn't like that, you can't do nothing about that. It's subjective. It's so subjective. Everyone's palate is completely different, and the taste I get out of this cigar, I'm getting, I get chocolate, I get
Very
leather, I
chocolate.
get salt, I get all this. You might be getting, oh man, this is bitter. It's just not hitting you. It's not hitting your palate like it hits my palate. But if it's a quality issue and I can correct that by giving
Yes.
you one cigar, then that can change that person's opinion.
100%.
And it did
100%.
change that. It that in that one instance, it did change that person's opinion. They reached out. They said, "Well, this cigar is terrific. Thank you for sending me out." That can go to the next person and to the next person to the next person and so on, and make it really positive. So I could have just sat there and be like, man, sucks to suck. But
And some brands do that.
yeah.
Some brands do that, not naming any names and won't name any names, but some brands actually say, too bad, it's hand rolled. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do about it?
Yeah, but that's a bigger company where they're selling to, tens of thousands more people. So, it might not be a financial
feasible.
okay for them. So, but
Right.
I'm much smaller, and
Nimble.
I have one cigar, one size right now anyways, and those little things that could make a difference will make a difference, especially for a small company like myself.
Absolutely. When I used to be in marketing, and really closely with business consulting side of things on the marketing aspect for mom and pops and enterprise level doctors, lawyers, one of the things that I always had to let them know about is think about it in your own life. If you have a great dinner, you might tell your close circle, oh man, you got to go. If you have a terrible dinner, you're jumping on Yelp, you're jumping on Facebook, you're tagging the company, you're tagging the owner, the
Yeah,
chef, like screaming it from the top of the rooftops is a bad experience is much, much more widespread
yeah,
than
because
a
it's
good
much more
experience.
like it's more socially acceptable to talk about the shitty things in your life than the good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you see nowadays. You see all the bad. You don't see a lot of the good. A lot of the good doesn't really come through anymore. So it's important to if you can control the good you put out, then you know absolutely do it.
So I completely agree with you. So yes, the Gato Negro was in the Cigar of the Month Club. I think it was March,
Was it March, April?
April, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
It
something
was a
around
few
there.
months ago. It was a few months ago.
It was
Yeah,
a few months ago.
it was in there. Bruce, you probably smoked it and didn't realize it, or it's in your humidor somewhere. My guess is it's somewhere in your humidor. Um,
Yep, just look for the
so
gold.
let's kind of talk a little bit about what makes you Drew. For those of you that follow Drew, you'll know that he's got a wife and a daughter, and his daughter, he just posted a recent cheerleading pic with his beautiful young daughter. I have a 3-year-old daughter myself. And I'm nervous if when she starts getting that old, and she's already got a little friend that's a little 3-year-old boy, and I'm like, do I gotta go talk to his
Yeah,
dad already? Like,
yeah.
what do we got now? But I digress. Uh, but in all seriousness, man, what makes you tick as a person? What makes you Drew?
100% before having my daughter. Uh, Very selfish. Very no care in the world about anything.
What does that mean? Define
Just
that.
everything was a good time. Just
Okay, party.
money, no big deal. Like it wasn't about partying really, but it was just like my own selfish wants. It was all about me,
Sure.
and then when I had my daughter, when my wife was pregnant, she came into my room when I was sleeping, and she showed me the pregnancy test. And I was
Sleeping?
like, yeah, I was sleeping, and she showed me this pregnancy test, and I was like, oh wow, great, fantastic. I wasn't excited about it in the least. It was all fear. It was all fear, and it was all fear for that 9 months. like everyone's celebrating and, you know, baby showers and all that. There was zero excitement in me. It was just
Nerves.
horrendous fear. Am I at a point in my life where I'm good enough to be a father? Will I be a good father? How bad am I going to screw this up? And as soon as I saw her, I said, "Oh man, I'll kill someone for this girl." As soon as I saw her, I was immediately excited. All the excitement, and for those 9 months, it happened right there and then. So when it came into to talk about cigars and then talking about my daughter, because my daughter is my absolute life. I am first and foremost, I am dance dad and I am cheerleading dad before I am Drew Gato from Gato Negro Cigars. I'm that. And when we started this, I had to have a conversation with my business partner. I'm like, here's the thing. I thought about it long and hard, and to be a nationwide cigar brand, you got to be, let's say, 300 to 500 stores to be considered a success. Reorders and stuff of that nature. But on top of that, you have to be on the road like Rocky Patel style 300 days out of the year.
Yeah.
When you're starting it up. And I said, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to be that guy. I can't be that guy, because at the end of the day, yeah, we can build this into something that's great, and I hope we do that. But all that time away, I cannot get back with her, and I cannot. That comes around once in a lifetime, and I'm a guy that thinks long term, lifetime. I never want to miss anything. Because she could very well be my only child, and that's all that matters, 100%. And I will absolutely do events. I love doing events. I love getting the name out there with Gato Negro, and there's got to be another way to be successful in this industry without sacrificing family. So that's where I'm at right now, to learn how to, all right, how can we make this a success? Make this to where we can be nationwide, to where we can make quality stuff, and I can be dad. And that's a hard, that's going to be something that's going to be hard to do. But that's the only path I see. So that is still number one, only thing 100% that matters.
How old's your daughter now again?
6 going on 7 in a month.
Okay. And that's what grade?
First grade.
First grade. Wow. Yeah, that's my daughter's 3. She just started preschool. Boy, is that expensive. Wow.
Everything's expensive with them.
It is, but it gets a little cheaper once they're out of diapers, right? Like it does in formula. There's like a little break.
No, see, that's
little break.
That's where we were wrong on that. My wife actually was able somehow, I don't know how it happened. It was on God, I forget the name of the show. It was a show in New York, and it had a bunch of people on it. I forget the name of the show, but they were doing a baby episode. And it was her and my sister-in-law went, and they both got diapers free for a year. So basically, we got 2 years of diapers.
Wow.
We got the car seats, we got the stroller, we got everything. It was like one of those Oprah shows, but we didn't get a car at the end of it. We just got a whole bunch of baby shit. But I mean that
expensive.
That picked up a lot of costs.
Yeah, it does. It certainly.
And it wasn't cheap stuff. It was the Pampers too, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't the Great Value diapers. um, so what drives you as a teenager? What drove you to be successful in your 20s? What drove you in your 20s to be successful in your 30s, and what's driving you today?
20s is a blur. I don't remember it. Let's be honest. I there was no drive. It was
Okay.
work, get paid, party, and then repeat the cycle. I wish I had more aspirations. I did have aspirations, mind you. I was really into photography. I took a course after high school to pursue photography, and I had a pretty good opportunity to do an internship with National Geographic.
Wow.
But I had a fear, and the fear stopped me from leaving what I knew. I didn't I didn't I held
You
my I
didn't
held
take the leap
myself,
of faith.
yeah, I held myself back. And I don't have regrets in life because I wouldn't be where I am today if
I
I
am the
went
same way.
if I did a different path. So there's absolutely no regrets that way. But so in the 20s, I was really, that was finding myself, finding what I was, finding who I was. And what that was building friendships, building connections. And in the 30s, my 30s is really where I was able to, because I wasn't really a big sociable person. I grew up with generalized anxiety disorder. So I was very, any social, any social gathering it was almost a no-go for me. It was, I can't do it. Or if I was about to do it, I would have a panic attack right before I did it, and I
So
would,
TGS would have been a no-go.
oh
Wouldn't
no,
even have been a
no,
thought.
no, wouldn't have happened. So I did get some, I did get some professional help. I did get some, some doctors help me out, and I'm in a much better place than I have ever been, and it's helped me become who I am today. Much more social, much more. I can talk to anyone at any time, doing anything. Even with this, I was a little nervous, but it was like, it's not gonna. I'm just gonna go in there. I'm just gonna be me. That's how easy it is for me to do that now. And went into my mid 30s. I met my now wife, and it was like the support she is. Anything I've ever wanted to do, she just absolutely behind me 100%. Hey, do it. If it ain't if it don't work, I'm behind you, and I'll push you back up on your feet. And that was, that's another big reason why I'm doing this, because without that support system, without what I have at home, I wouldn't be able to be doing this.
So you brought up a really good point. I want to touch on it. And that is the relationship that you have with you and your wife as far as starting this company. Starting a business where your wife's not necessarily involved. Maybe she is in the background, but it can be difficult, especially when you have a full-time job, you have a
Oh yeah.
daughter, you have something else. So what is something that changed that you had to change or learn to be different with to keep your wife happy in this new journey? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's honestly, because of her just gracious personality as it is, I didn't have to change anything. I mean, I was, I'm the same person now that I started my company that I was at home that I am now. I don't. because I said, first and foremost, family comes first. I said, no matter what happens here, and you can stick me, keep me on that path if I ever stray from it. But I said, family absolutely comes first more than anything. And because my business partner is technically family, it was well understood by everyone, and he was totally on board with that as well. And we just didn't. We haven't missed a beat. We haven't missed a beat from the start of this company. It's amazing to see, because when you talk to a lot of people that started companies, a lot of things changed. A lot, hey, wife, you're going to have to really pick up a lot more slack.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do a lot more things, and there's going to be a lot more of your sacrifice and time, and mine is going to be, my sacrifice with time with the family. But your sacrifice is going to be, you holding it down at home. So thankfully, we're not at that point where we've had to cross that bridge to where we had to be there yet. Now, we may get to that point one day, but
you will.
It will. I don't. She is incredibly mentally stronger than I am. So she is the rock that holds this family down. So it's, as long as she says it's a go, man, I'm good to go.
And I'm a firm believer of the line in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The man might be the head of the household, but the woman's the neck that turns the head either way she wants. Like, I mean, that's just the realistic approach to it. Behind, literally standing next to the side of every good man is a great woman.
Yeah, 100%.
And without that relationship, without that understanding, a business like this, at the age you started at, with the kid that you have, with the wife that you have, that could, that takes a lot potentially. So that's really, really, did you guys like lay down kind of parameters around
No.
expectations?
No, not really.
Like, does she have a get out button she could hit if you're on the road too much, and she can call you back home and go, you're here for a while?
No, I mean, what this was, because I have a full-time job as well. This isn't my full-time job. This is still a very passionate hobby of mine.
I would say it's a few levels above hobby.
So what I've done, and what I wanted to do, and this was the start of it, and smoking was a surprise, a shock.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to start local, and local, really master local, and really that be a, for a good amount of time, let me master local.
What is local to you?
Before we do anything else?
What is local?
Local is,
your state, your county.
Well, I would say about, let's say 3 to 4 hour radius around.
Okay.
So I'm into Ohio, Pennsylvania, and let's stick around there. Pennsylvania.
Stay out of Springfield.
What's that? Stay out of Springfield. Yeah,
they might eat your cigars.
They might. As long as they buy my cigars, they can eat them. I don't give a shit.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. Sorry.
Oh, that's what everyone. Oh yeah. Oh god. You want to talk about stuff that's separating families? Talk about eating cats and dogs. People on both sides are not liking that.
Just politics in general, man. I have a friend that I had for 15 years that we disagreed on a specific topic, and he ended the relationship.
That's not a friend. That's not just, that wasn't someone you needed in your life.
No, and that's why I didn't fight for it. Because I feel the same way. But I'm curious, how is your area with cigars, your Ohio, you said Ohio, what?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. PA is big with
Oh,
cigars.
PA,
There's
PA,
no
PA is
question
big.
about it.
PA is
How
as
is
big as Florida.
Ohio? Is Ohio big with cigars?
Ohio is big with cigars. Their laws are a little different. PA don't really give a damn. Florida don't really give a damn. And there's a lot of states in between. Ohio is a thing where I have to tell them every month. I have to go into a computer program and tell them exactly what I brought in, where I brought it in, the price I brought it in at for each cigar. And then they will go to the cigar shop and they will make sure that they file exactly what I filed and collect tax from them. So there's a lot more responsibility as a company owner in Ohio. And California is kind of like Ohio, but the only difference with California, there's a few more hoops to jump through, and
Well,
they charge you. They said, "All right, you want to bring your cigar in here? First and foremost, you owe me You owe us $2,000 to even sell your cigar here."
yeah, I had Antu from JM Tobacco. They're located out in California. And I asked him the question, do they give you a break being a local company? He's like, fuck no, they screw us like crazy. So how
No,
many states are you in?
I'm in technically 3 states right now.
And how many shops is that?
About 8 or 9.
And I mean, and how many cigars is that moving for you on
Go,
average?
yeah, like I don't have a minimum, so I mean, bundle here, bundle there. My biggest thing right now is getting more stock in, and locally, I said first and foremost, I got to do events. I got to bust these events out at every location so people know exactly who I am, what we are. Because if you don't know who next to a Padron, next to a Rocky, next to a CAO, whatever, next to a Dunbarton, if you don't know who I am and you don't know that I'm a local guy usually within Ohio, PA, they're gonna support local above all else, which is a blessing. And that's usually where I'm at. That's usually where I'm at right now. We're not doing huge numbers because we just don't have a lot more stock at the moment. We're getting it in within like the week, and we're going to be able to press it a lot more in the coming weeks. But that's what it was. Like I just it wasn't. It's not a. I want slow growth. Slow growth is a plus to me, not a minus.
Well, yeah, it's how you could also keep yourself quality controlled
Mm-hmm.
much better. I mean, you look at companies like, for instance, Espinosa. Espinosa's got great quality control, but he's having to do so much with the knuckle sandwich that he's because it's getting so big so
Right.
quick. So you don't want that to happen because then you get over your skis and you start sacrificing corners just to make things happen.
Right.
And it's almost better as a small company to say I can't than I can.
Right. Because you don't want to get too big, and you don't want to get too big. You want so big that you can't fathom it. You can't support it. And that wouldn't be an issue with the factory that I'm at, because they said, all right, man, this is your blend, this is your cigar, and we're just going to run on faith that you're going to order more, so we're going to roll them. We're going to roll them without you saying roll them. So when you call, hey, I need this, it's already done. All right, man. Yeah, that shit's been sitting for 6 months. We'll send it out to you in a couple weeks.
Explain to me how you define a good partnership.
A good what?
Define a good partnership.
Trust. The trust is a hard thing to come by in this industry, because you're not there. You're not. I'm not making bi-weekly trips to the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
I talked to the owner directly. I talked to Luis. Any given time, he'll answer. And he goes, this is what, and I tell him, this is what it is. This is what it needs to be. This is what I want. And at every given turn, it's been exactly what I want. It's been exactly when I want. And they've absolutely gone above and beyond, as if I was Espinosa for them, as like if they didn't make me happy and I left, it would break their company. That's how they treat it. So that speaks, like you said, that speaks volumes.
And how does that make you feel as somebody that the reality of it is, I mean, let's just be brutally honest here. The reality of it is, if you did leave, you probably wouldn't change the needle for what they make.
No, absolutely not.
But how has that made you feel as a brand owner, as somebody that's in a partnership with somebody to make your product that they have, when they didn't need to, made you feel that you are an integral part of that bottom line?
Like you are a priority.
You move the needle.
Exactly. Like you are the business to them. I've dealt with people where it was, we'll do it when we do it. We'll do it when we do it, and I don't know, maybe
There's the Italian accent that comes out.
yeah. When I get pissed, man, the fake Joe Pesci Italian slang comes out on me. 100%. And I had to go through that, and I'm like, this motherfucker. I swear to God, if this guy was in front of me right now, I'd choke him out. But when just from the start of it, man, I can't even speak on how good this company is, and they are a very well respected, not only brand, they have their own cigar brand as well, but factory. They're multi-generational factory. They are well respected in this industry. And when you say their name, people go, yeah, all right. Yeah, I know who they are. Yeah, those are good people.
That's why I started the show with where you were made at, because that is not an easy feat to get made at a facility that has that lineage.
Right.
It is. A lot of times they tell you to go fuck off. I don't have time.
Yeah, not so many words, but they'll if they really don't, like, how they tell you to fuck off is like, all right, yeah, 20,000. How about that? Oh yeah, I'll say yeah. See you later. Yeah.
And that says a lot about who you are, that a brand, that a manufacturer like them trusts enough in who you are to make your cigar, because
they take my word for it. They didn't know me. They knew the guy who they were making for. My friend Aaron Pauletta from La Vega Cigar Company, and he told him, he goes, "This is good people." That's all he needed to say, and that's how I've been treated ever since.
And one of the things I love about that is they really came to you arms open. They didn't put parameters. They didn't put limitations. Yeah. They let you be a company for what the company's needs were, not the needs of themselves.
Exactly.
And in my opinion, that shows somebody that genuinely cares for your success, doesn't over ask, and wants to be a partner.
Right.
Because they're rolling maybe smaller, because every cigar they roll for you does take time away from anything else they're doing.
Most definitely.
That says a lot.
Because they make a lot of cigars for a lot of other people.
They do, including their own.
including their own, exactly. And
So
they don't bat an eye to it. They don't, this month ain't the time for that. I never got an inkling of that ever. So when we were down for the Great Smoke last year, I said, one thing we need to do is we need to meet them. I need face-to-face interaction with these guys, because that becomes more personable then.
yes,
That becomes something different then. That we're no longer a check, and not that they ever made me feel like we were just a check, but we sat down and they took us to a Cuban restaurant, and they took us, then they took us to a cigar lounge, and then we started smoking cigars, and then we talked maybe 10 minutes of business in 5 hours, and the rest of it was literally just shooting the shit with a friend you think you've known all your life, and that's where it was like, all right, yeah, we're with the right people, these are good people. I'm knowing more about them. I'm knowing about more of them as a person, and knowing more about them as a person, more about them as a family-owned company.
I couldn't agree with you more. I want to kind of switch the topic here to mentors. Mentors is something that's really big in my life. I love talking about them because I personally feel the successful younger generation does have mentors, but oftentimes I feel like my younger generation feels like they know every fucking thing and they
Yeah.
don't need anybody smarter.
Right.
And I'm one of those. I lost a very big mentor this year due to a motorcycle accident.
Oh, yes.
But I've got, yeah, Brad Reith. I've
Yeah.
got I literally know exactly how many. I have 12 mentors, some business, some personal, some blended. And for me, I would never give up anything for the information that I have learned from them, for the knowledge that they have shared. It's absolutely invaluable in so many ways. It's the reason why I'm successful. So I love to listen to other people's stories around mentors, who's believed in them, who pushed them, who you freaking hated to hear from because you knew they were going to tell you what you didn't want to hear,
Right.
but you respected them. So let's kind of go through some of your mentors in your life, and then go through some of the mentors in this industry, as obviously you've shared a little bit already.
First and foremost, my business partner. I wouldn't be here without him. He was big shout out to Uncle Pete on that one. He is. He goes, I didn't start this with you because I wanted to make make $1 million. I didn't start this to, be the best cigar company in the world at some point. I did this because I believe in your passion, and I want to give you that opportunity to broaden that. And he teaches me a lot about his struggles in life, and that enables me to really take a step back and look at things the way they should be looked at. Then my wife, I wouldn't say mentor, but definitely a role model, because to be the person that I should be. And when it comes to business, to the guy that, God, he's gonna tell me shit I don't want to hear, but I need to hear, and that's Abe.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll fucking, he ain't gonna, but he's gonna tell you what you need to know. And he goes, hey, don't take this the wrong way. I was like, no, absolutely not. Everything he gives me, I absolutely, yeah, this is for my own personal growth, and this is for my own personal growth as a business owner. And then another guy that he hates people talking about him, but anytime I've had questions, anytime I've had anything, Steve Saka.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, he'll always say he's an asshole or he's a dick. But man, that guy, big. He's a softy to me. I'm glad I've never seen the asshole side of him. But he's, he'll take the time, and he'll whenever I come around and any time I've had questions like, there was people trying to push me into the PCA, and he was like, "Bro, don't do that." He goes, "Bro, you're nowhere near that." And he goes, you'll probably shut up. You'll probably have to go shut up shop if you go there where you are at right now. He goes, you're not ready, and nor should you be ready. Of how we started out. You can start a cigar company and you could put $5 million into it, and you can hire all your retail. You can hire all your reps, and you can put all that money into it, which people have, and it is a bona fide business, but you're spending a lot of money and you're not going to see a lot of that money come back. And he basically showed me like, all right, you want to be a cigar company, congratulations, but here's the reality of situations. Like, I didn't see profit for like 7 years, and that's fucking Steve Saka.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the quintessential,
who came from running Drew Estate,
who is the quintessential master blender
now
of our generation.
I want to focus on that for a second, because I've also heard that about Steve. I think Steve self-deprecates himself because there's no sugarcoating. And I think in this world today, when you don't sugarcoat, you're seen as an ass. You're seen as a jerk because you're not empathetic to somebody's plight. But the reality of it is, the information that Steve gave you, you could have taken one of two ways. You could have taken it as a fuck off, Steve, I'm going to do what I want. Or you could have taken it as a, oh, maybe you're right. I'm going to look at this and go, I'm not going to take the tone and him saying I'm not ready as a challenge. I'm going to take it as a, I'm not ready right now. Not I'm not ready in general.
Right. Most definitely.
And so as you have mentors throughout your life, how important is it to understand the distinguish between the concept of you're not ready, comma, right now, or you're not ready, comma, in general, and understand that tonality difference? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like a put down to a build up.
Those men are where I want to ultimately be at. They've gone through all the shit that took them to where they are. And they are gracious enough to let me know and warn me, this is the shit that you will face before you face it. So
$1 million information.
I will never look at it as, fuck that guy. I'm never, and that's
but
not
some
me.
people would. Some people would take that criticism and go, fuck you. You're not out for my best interest. But the reality of it is if you know Steve, if you know Abe, and you understand that personality, like Abe's pretty blunt with me. And I've been like, I've had to tell myself he still likes me, but I like that information he gave me. And there's a reason he gave it to me, because if he didn't care, he wouldn't have given it. Right. And that's a tough thing for people to hear and understand and distinguish the difference between caring and brutality. I'm being brutal because I care. I'm not being brutal to be brutal.
Yeah, because if you take that as them being brutal, then you're not ready to hear what they have to say.
No, and you're not ready for anything business-wise, in my opinion.
Right. So that they give me an aspect of things I don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not at that position yet. So when they give me that, they're like, all right, well, I got to take a step back, and I got to, all right, this is what I'm going to be up against. So let me prepare myself now for that future, what they know damn well is going to happen. So when that happens, I'm going to be ready for it. So they don't, it might come off harsh, but that's the only way it has to come off.
No, it is. And it's also, I tell people this, I tell business owners this, information is only as good as how you perceive it. And if you perceive yourself as I'm losing, I'm not selling, I'm not doing everything, and you get information like that, don't go to PCA, you're not ready.
Right.
You almost have to be secure and confident in who you are before you can ever even accept a mentor in your life. Because a good mentor, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but a good mentor should tell you everything you don't want to hear.
Almost definitely. Because I've had plenty of people tell me about my cigars, and you don't get anything from them when they're like, this is the greatest cigar I've ever had.
No, you don't.
You don't get anything. You don't get anything from that. And when I started that, and when I was getting that, that made me all feel all good inside, and that made me feel great. And I'm like, oh, I must be doing something right. But when I talk to these two individuals, and they tell me things that I never heard before, that I didn't. It's not that I didn't like. It's just something that I never crossed. And he goes, that those people aren't the people that are going to help you grow.
Mm-mm.
Not just as a business, but as a person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to have to hear things that put a lot of questions into your head, and they absolutely will do that. Abe more than anybody. I mean, he will. And it's not like
I love him because of it.
Yeah, most definitely, 100%. Like, he doesn't need to do this for us. Like, he doesn't need us, right? You know, but he is supporting us, and he is giving us just so much life experience just by having these small conversations with him.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you keep it all in the back of your head, so when something does happen, you're like, this is what he was talking about.
So right. I've actually thought long and hard about the reality of that, and what you said was, what you said a little bit back ago is, when he's giving you his time, that means a lot. But there's a part of the sentence you left off. When he's giving you his time, he cares about you. And I think so often we have a elementary school approach to people that give us advice. If they're talking to us more, they're upset with us. They're critiquing us because your teacher in school, sit up, stop sleeping, stop this, stop that, get an A, get a B, do better, do this, correct this, bad this. So I think as the years go by, when somebody takes that willingness and that approach to somebody to kind of take them under their wing, oftentimes that can turn somebody off because they don't want that criticism. They don't see that criticism as building up. But the reality of it is, you hit a certain point in time in your life, you don't care what anybody thinks. You only care about those who care about you and what they think. So when you have a mentor later in your life and they actually care about you and they're giving you that time, that is more valuable than anything. And it's a complete reverse of how you are as a kid. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'm very young in this industry. Obviously, I am a toddler in this industry, But I'm old enough to realize what is being done, is what is being said. Um, my business partner is no slouch in business. That man is a bona fide well in what he has done in his life, and still continue to do what he does now. Aside from being a partner in Gato Negro, and just shadowing him helped me grow. As I was like, all right, this is what business is, because I've seen what he does. I've seen the people he surrounds himself with, and I'm like, well, all right, this is. And I see the friends he keeps, and AA being one of them. And you definitely don't take that with a grain of salt, a grain of sand, because you know, all right, these are the people that will take you to the next step. And
Absolutely.
I was definitely, not that I was ready, but I definitely take it in. I definitely respect what is being said at all times, because it is for the betterment of for everyone.
And yeah, and you had made a very valuable point. You might not understand it right now, how it will make you better. But at a certain point in time, a year from now, 2 years from now, that advice is going to ring true in a way that you're going to go, holy shit. Okay. I get it. You
Right.
know,
Right.
um, and to me, I don't know. I failed enough in my life. I love learning from other people's failures. It's a much easier route. It's less route that needs to be traveled. Doesn't mean you don't make your own, but it's always nicer to have somebody else to learn from.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Um, and to have somebody that is, and I'll just say it, brutally honest in your life, whether it be a business partner or not. I mean, I literally have avoided mentors for like a week that have called me every day because I knew I did not want to hear what they had to say. It wasn't going to be a pretty conversation, and it was going to end with me probably hanging up on them. And I still love them for it because I needed it. And that's what I love about people like Abe. He If he's giving you your time, his time, he loves you. He respects you. He finds value in that relationship. And especially if he's giving you time during his business,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. So I want to kind of move on here to where you see Gato Negro in, you know, let's do a goal review, a 1 year, a 5 year, and a 10 year. Break it down for us.
I see myself where I am right now, as a family run company, and I would love to bring more. I would love to grow it to a point where more family is involved in it, and it's something that needs. I want to reinvent what it is to be a success in this industry, and people are telling me what it is to be a success, but it's what they did to be a
Yes,
success.
yes,
And I want to do it on my terms. I want to do it on the terms of what makes sense for me, my family, and their family, as other business owners, as a shop, as what have you. And I want them to understand that I'm more about quality than I'm going to be about quantity. This is not going to be a money grab for me. This is not a money grab for me. This is a passion project. I truly believe in the story of my partner's family, and I want to make good on that. I want to not only make that a success, but I want that to be a name that continues them to be proud of. And there's no, it might be foolish to say I don't have that 1 year, that 5 year, that 10 year. I want to take it as it comes. I want to continue to learn from people who continue to give me the time of day to learn from them and grow into speed that makes sense for us. And to say, well, I want to be 10,000, 5 SKUs, 20,000, a million cigars in 10 years with 30 SKUs is not the plan I have. Is not the expectation I have. I want to grow naturally in a way that I can control everything that comes with our name on it to be, in my opinion, the top echelon of quality that people expect when they smoke a cigar.
Well, I can tell you, you bundled it as a bundle. It's certainly not a bundle cigar. It's a really, really good fucking cigar. Like really, really good. Bruce has a question. I was going to ask this, but I will give Bruce credit for this. At what point in time will this be a full-time job? Or is that not a goal?
It is not a goal for me right now. For what I do for a living, it is a very big part of my life. I work with adults with physical and mental disabilities on a daily basis, and that is a very frustrating job, to say the least. But it is the reward you get from it, because you see change, and it could be that change can come, it could be as little as, a first meeting with someone, or 10 years down the road, when you see a small change, positive, in where they came from. That right there is huge. I would love to do both. If it got to the point where it was like, hey, Gato Negro is at the point where we need to grow, I'm about that. I would more than likely want to
Bring someone in.
Probably be in the direction of, all right, let's hire reps.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Makes
and then
sense.
Take a few, 3 or 4 over the country. Everyone has their territory. You pay them the salary, the commission rate, and make it a great living for whoever would come on board with this company. That's where I would see it growing to. And then like major events and stuff like that, be a part of. Definitely me being there, but those people in the reps, they would be the absolute face for wherever they take that brand.
So before you get to that part, would you consider a distributor? Would you consider distribution partners that sell multiple brands to bring yours on? Because what you're talking about is a huge expense to bring on an in-house sales team.
Definitely.
I mean, massive. You have to, now you're responsible for their livelihood, your brand. Right. So would
I would absolutely be, I would definitely be interested in distribution and everything like that. You give them a pretty substantial,
commission,
sure. Obviously. But yeah.
When do you think Gato potentially would be ready for a distribution or a broker to come in and help you grow?
In the future, absolutely. Where I am right now, I think it's important for me to be that face, to grow the brand, slowly at a time to really get a foundation going. We're just building a foundation now. We're not. I'm not looking national right now because that's you're biting off more than you can chew.
Yes, I agree.
You're talking about so many things that can go wrong.
Yep.
That is not in your control, but it reflects on you because you are that brand owner. You are that company. So when things go negative, it is a reflection on you. Even though you've put people in place to expect that quality the same as you do, and that doesn't always transfer. That doesn't always happen. So slow and steady is where we need to is where my bread and butter is right now.
So would you say, if I was to ask you if you were in 50 stores in 5 years, would that be too slow or too fast?
It depends on the regions, because this is an industry where this is one of the last industry where you need to be face to face. You need to be shaking hands. You need to be there to represent. You can't represent on a Zoom. You can't represent on a phone call. You can't represent on an email or text message. You have to be there in person. And 50 stores is doable, 100%. Definitely within a PA and Ohio radius, 100%. And that is definitely a realistic number within 5 years.
Okay. So you're just trying to grow slow and steady, to keep the quality and the construction and everything completely under control.
Absolutely.
And who knows? Maybe when you retire, now you're in this full bred, your daughter's older in college.
Right, exactly.
And it's a different story.
There's different circumstances.
Because now you're traveling with your wife, like how Ricky Rodriguez does, or how Steve Saka does, and it's now a different experience in that ability to grow the business.
Exactly. And like I said, we didn't create this company to just absolutely bombard the market. This is like I said from the beginning, this is a socialite born and bred company.
Love it.
And we are, we're not in any hurry. There's no hurry. I know time is against us all, but you got to enjoy it. You got to live the passion. And I don't want this to become I know it's become a job for a lot of people out there that started as a, passion, and it's now just a fucking job. God, is it a headache? God, I don't want to do this. I got to do this. And my whole life is this, we're not there, and I don't want to be there. I pride myself in experiences in life. And that's how I raised my daughter, where we're going to give her all the experiences in the world. So when she grows up, she is world traveled. She has experiences that can take her much farther in life than what money can take her right now. It's not about what I can buy her. It's about what I can give her in an experience.
I love that. I love how much you're not losing yourself in the brand. You're not losing who you are in the company and the success that you have had. And quite frankly, you've had probably more success than people at your level have had.
Oh, most definitely.
Because of your connections, and I love how you appreciate that. It doesn't sound like you ever take that for granted. And
yeah, Gato Negro is part of me. It isn't me.
I love that. I love that. I love
It's something that I take great pride in. It's something that I know a lot of people that are in love with cigars, that have such a passion for it, would absolutely jump on, that would love to absolutely do what I'm doing right now. But it isn't it isn't all me. And I don't want it to become all me. I want it to be, I always want it to be a part of me, but I don't always want it to be my whole being, if that makes
I
any
love it. No, that makes total sense. Your whole being is your family.
sense.
Everything else falls below that.
That's what, you know,
And it falls far below that.
yeah, the cigar company will definitely be part of my legacy, but my real legacy is my family. So that's what will carry through the test of time, and that's what, that's what that needs to be. That's what carries my name on. That's what, when I'm long gone, you know, I want to be known as I was about my family first and foremost, and that then drives them to be the same way, and so on and so on.
I love it. I love it. So here in the lightning round questions, just some random questions I throw out there, really quick answers as we close the show here. Now you can give me singer. I always preface because some people don't understand. You can give me singer or cigar wrapper or just cigar wrapper. Up to you. What is your favorite wrapper?
My cigar favorite wrapper. Shit. Cigar wrapper. Damn. Simple but elegant is how I've always. That's my cigar wrapper. I don't have all that extra
Well,
frill in there.
are you like a big fan of Corojo, or is Maduro your favorite? Is
I gotta get on that. I gotta get on that broadleaf train. I love
okay, okay,
broadleaf, but it's
okay.
so right now to make
Expensive.
something with broadleaf. It's so impossible to get at a price that like makes sense. But as a smoker, you
Well,
gotta.
that's how you need to use your connections with Steve and make that broadleaf
Oh
happen.
yeah.
Now, I think I know the answer to this question because I think you just answered it as well. But what's a rapper you would love to work with in the future?
Uh,
My guess is broadleaf.
no, actually, I want to, like, my big thing I've always wanted to do was I wanted to make a Gato Blanco. I want to make
Okay,
I want to make
Connecticut.
I want to make a Connecticut so flavorful and intense and complex that has never been seen. Now, that's hard to say because a lot of people are doing a lot of Connecticut's that, are fantastic smokes that have fantastic blends. But that's my one thing I always wanted to do, because I'm not one of those guys that, oh, when I wake up, I'm not if you know Dave D. You can't. This fucking guy wakes up and smokes a goddamn tabernacle and thinks it's the. I can't.
To me.
I'm not built like that. I'm not built like that. That's, I gotta eat something. I gotta eat something fierce to be smoking that. So I start off light in the morning, and I've never had a Connecticut that really just well, I will say there has been one that has blown my socks off, and that is the Wagashi.
Yeah,
That thing
that's
is
a really good one.
in a league of its own, and that's
I
always where I
actually have the
wanted.
box literally right here. I just took out my
That's where
last
I
couple.
wanted to go. That's where I wanted to go with a Connecticut, and that's a dream of mine to make, Connecticut like a really, like when people talk about favorite cigars, a lot of people don't really throw Connecticut's out there too much because sometimes it's too mild for them, too nutty or too. but it's all about the blend. It's all about what's on the inside that matters, and I want to definitely get to that point where I'm known for something that's really not known for.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Richard asked a question. Now, I love this wrapper, but I'm curious, is a Candela something you see in your future? Are you a fan?
That's hard, man. That's hard. I don't. And like I said, the blend is what would have to make it. Candela's a hard wrapper.
It is.
Candela's a hard wrapper, man.
It is.
It's hated on a lot in this.
I know. It's the original cigar wrapper. Like, most people don't understand when you color Adam's family, he's smoking Candelas.
That doesn't make it right, though.
Well, I like Candelas, and I get it. So what's your favorite cut? What's your favorite cut?
I'm straight all the way. Yeah, I'm okay. straight cut. I never, if on the off chance that unfortunately I'm smoking a short filler, I'll punch it. But any other time, it's a straight cut.
So what's your favorite pairing?
I don't actually like drinking anything usually with my cigar, and I'm drinking a cold brew right now, but
coffee.
I do enjoy a coffee in the morning with my cigar. Otherwise, I'm really not drinking too much. I used to drink cognac with my cigar a lot, Hennessy. That was until I visited my partner, and he asked me what I drank, and I was like, yeah, I can go for some Hennessy if you got any. He goes, oh, I got some Hennessy, and he brought some out to me, and the color was so dark and rich. I'm like, this ain't the Hennessy I know. And I'm smelling it. I'm like, oh, this definitely ain't the fucking Hennessy I know. And I drink it, and I'm like, oh my God, it was just like liquid caramel. And I'm like, I said, what the hell is this? He goes, it's Hennessy. I was like, no, brother, this ain't Hennessy. This ain't $35 chuck that I drink at home.
It's that VSOP.
What the hell is this? And he brings me inside, and he shows me this crystal decanter, and it has a box, and he opens it. It's all fancy looking, and it's like a $5,000 bottle of Hennessy.
That's not your typical bottle.
And I'm like, you motherfucker. And he goes, what? You don't like it? I'm like, you ruined it. You ruined it for me. I got bottles in there for years now. I haven't touched because I can't. How do I go back to that? How do I go back to that shit? That's garbage, man.
Oh, I love it.
I've tried to drink it since, and I'm like, it's terrible. This is terrible. My taste buds like, you're too sophisticated for that now. Can't drink that no more.
So if anybody is looking for a Christmas gift for Drew, $5,000 bottle of Hennessy would make him very happy.
I've seen it for like 25.
That's a discount.
That's a deal, man. That's a deal now.
So I'm going to give this next question to Gracie Rodriguez. Thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for watching tonight, Gracie. How many cigars a day do you smoke, Drew?
If I'm smoking test blends and stuff, I want to definitely get like 3 to 4. But Saka's talking about how he smokes like 15 a day and stuff. Like, that's bonkers to me. Like,
yeah, but he is not smoking the whole thing.
Right. But yeah, but he probably is. Let's be honest. I mean, he probably is. This guy. But usually I'm 1 to 2. I don't have a lot of. Thankfully, with the one guy I'm working with now, it actually allows me. They wanted me to be. They want me to have him more socially active. Because at certain points he's not very like socially acceptable. So They said, where could you take them? I was like, I like cigar lounges. And they're like, I don't know about that. I don't know. So I talked to his parents. I'm like, oh, I was thinking about, you want to get him around a bunch of people. Cigar lounges is, you're going to find all types of people there. And thankfully, a place that I go to, they open arms, man. Yeah, welcome. And they've, he's one of the, he's just one of the guys now. And so whenever I'm with them now, I can take them to a cigar lounge, once or twice a week. So that allows me to branch out of the, I'm not smoking with them, I'm not smoking. But yeah, probably between one to three usually.
Next question will go to Richard Beard, which I'm sure you're familiar with him. Where do you smoke at home?
Now, I have a sunroom. I've always wanted to deck out and make a cigar room. That comes at a cost, obviously. So what I usually do is I am in my garage, and that's where I usually smoke. That's why I said I made this at work behind me, this backdrop, to make it look like I'm not in a garage, but I'm in a garage. So that's usually where I have a nice oriental carpet with a nice fold out chair. And during the winter months, I have a nice heat lamp where I grow, where I'm very orange because of it. But that's where I smoke primarily all my cigars.
What is your favorite size?
6x48.
Okay, so then I think I know your answer. What is your favorite brand outside of your own?
Oh, Dunbarton.
100%. Yeah, the second you said 6x46, yeah, of course, that's exactly what that is. So I love asking this question. I always preface it as I stole this question from Robert Lipton or James Lipton of Inside the Actors Studio. But I love asking this question because it's a really introspective question. When you meet your maker someday, whoever you believe in, whoever you believe that to be, what do you want to hear them say?
Welcome. I don't want them to hear like, hey, you did some pretty shoddy shit down there. You're gonna, I don't want to hear, you got to go spend some time down there. You got to answer for some shit you did back in the day, and I would love to hear is welcome. We've been waiting for you. I'd be like, oh my God, holy shit, you actually forgave me for some of that shit. I can't believe it. But I hope I fully expect to get up there and they'll be like, you'll be up here one day for sure. You've done a lot of good things, but you gotta you gotta go down there, right? I mean, we just wanted to bring you up here so you can see what you're looking. There's something to look forward to. But as of
probation,
right now, yeah, you gotta spend some time.
That is an honest answer. Knowing where you need to be, but hoping you'll be somewhere different. That's an honest answer. Well, Drew, brother, this has been a very fast 2 hours.
It has been.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really, really am very appreciative and humbled to be part of your history in the sense of the first show that you were gracious enough to come on to, and I hope you found fun and enjoyment, and probably hopefully something a little different than what you were expecting.
I wasn't expecting anything any different from what I was expecting. You're always a great host to everyone you have on your show. Respectful. I knew it wasn't going to go sideways. If it did go sideways, like I said, there's a red button like right fuck there. So I mean, I could just like, oh. Wi-Fi, you know, oh, geez.
Oh, again, your honesty, dude. That's great. But no, from seriously though, I think you're gonna have. I mean, we have a lot of people. Great show. Enjoyed the full 2 hours. Great show. Way to go, Drew. Drew's my hero. So thank you so much for coming on. You're incredibly well received in the community, and I am beyond honored to be the first show that you have agreed to come on.
I'm very
And
happy. I'm very happy you asked me on. This has been a blast.
awesome. Well, hey, it's been so much fun getting to know you on a different level, on a deeper level, getting to know what makes you tick, the things you believe in, and it's what's been so fun about this is getting to know that you aren't going to change who you are. Your family is the utmost priority and the utmost importance. And it doesn't matter how big you get, you are going to be you. And I believe you when you say that. And I'm again from the bottom of my heart, brother. Cheers. All to the best of success.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that
And
very much.
here in closing, please remind everybody where to find you. Everybody go to smokein.com, look up Gato Negro, not El Gato, but
No,
Gato Negro, and support him by buying a box. This is a box worthy cigar. This is a cigar that's going to be in your humidor and should be a staple. It's a very, very, very good cigar made by a great company, made by an amazing manufacturer. You're getting
absolutely.
quality here. So, Drew,
Thank you
the end
very
of the
much.
show is yours, and we'll close it out.
Well, you can find me on Facebook, Drew Nicastro. Absolutely visit me personally on there. You can absolutely go to any kind of social media, look up Gato Negro Cigars or me personally, and absolutely go to smokein.com to pick up your Gato Negro cigars. We are right now exclusively only on smokein.com, and that's probably where you're going to get the best price and absolutely getting the best quality smoke out of there and the best customer service you can get. So thank you everyone who tuned in. This has been a blast. Can't wait to come back on.
Thank you so much, Drew. You always have a home here at the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. And until we see you all again, smoke what you like, smoke as often as you can, and have a great, great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.